blue diamond, purple triangle, yellow corner, green shield, silver diamond, blue pentagon, silver shield, gold corner, yellow shield, green wedge, yellow rectangle, hearts, stars, and horseshoes, clovers, and blue moons, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah. Dungeoneering is rough. Makes you lose your mind. Explains why Dorak went crazy trying to find Zamorak at the bottom of the dungeon, huh? I still got so many more levels to do. I had to take a break from Dungeoneering. Everywhere I looked, geometric colors stared back at me. Even in my dreams, I couldn't walk through a door without solving a puzzle. Because I wasn't sure if you could get golden cape fragments while Dungeoneering, I went ahead and did some easy skilling outside of Demonheim to finish my cape. Had to cook like 7,000 sharks for just a single fragment, but that's fine. Food's never a bad thing to have. I can't say I care about the cape very much, but it's a limited time thing and I don't want to miss out. I'm pretty sure that's the whole point of the event. After completing the cape, we get 2 toggleable buffs. One has a slight chance to reduce your damage by 99%, the other acts as infinite porters, and both these buffs last for 4 weeks after you make the cape. I'm not planning on going out of my way to take advantage of either of them. I know some Ironmen are using this as an opportunity to grind down Inquisitor staff or collect sandstone for a blessed flask, but I'm not in a super AFK mood, you know? Maybe I'll mine a bunch of gold or something while I'm editing, I don't know. So let's pop by Juna real quick and get 1 Dungeoneering level before moving on to something else for the time being. 116 Dungeoneering? 4 more to go. Anyway, today we're gonna get working on one of the stranger comp cape requirements. Unlocking Bones to Peaches, which is, now that I think about it, a really weird spell. Turning bones into fruit is an oddity. I'm sure it's something straight out of D&D, or it's a reference to some 80s British comedy, I have no idea which. The older the content, the more likely it's one of those two things, and this is some damn old content. So, Mage Training Arena. Bones to Peaches costs 300 Alchemist points, 2,000 Enchantment points, 200 Telekinetic points, and 200 Graveyard points. The easy, medium, and hard desert tasks reduce the cost by 2, 5, and 10% respectively, and I've got the elite done, meaning this grind will be a touch faster. Let's begin with the Alchemist room. It's very simple. Open the cupboards and alch the stuff you find inside. Every 100 coins you deposit in the coffer to the north is worth a single Alchemist point, but you should focus on alching the items valued at 30 coins only. I don't think I need to explain that more GP per alch is faster points. You guys are smart, you get it. What isn't obvious is that high and low alchemy grant the same amount of GP, but low alchemy casts faster. Yes, you get less XP per cast, effectively reducing the XP per nature rune ratio, but who really cares about that? No one comes to the Mage Training Arena to train their magic, that'd be absurd. But you can just left click on the items to cast high alchemy, so depending on how lazy you want to be, the choice is yours. Oh, the item value changes pretty frequently too, so you can't just alch the same thing over and over again. Well, you can, but that wouldn't be very efficient. The idea is to chase around the highest value item and only alch those. But when the value changes, the cupboards also change, so you need to run around and figure out where the items move to. On the bright side, the order of the items is always the same. Think of it like a clock. The cupboards don't randomize, but the set of items sort of rotates. For instance, if you find the emerald, the next cupboard traveling counterclockwise will be the adamant helmet. Or you can just click around and collect stuff. It really doesn't matter how optimal you are because you're probably going to doze off after 30 minutes or so. It's not even that it's boring. It's just such a low intensity activity. You know, you're cozy, you're at home, you're escaping, you're relaxed, you're chilling out. You dip into a micro sleep here and there. Does that happen to anyone else or is that just me? Next, we've got the Enchantment room. It requires the most points, about 10 times as many, and yet it's probably the fastest room to be done with. The idea is to run around the room collecting the various geometric shapes of various colors, giving me Demonheim flashbacks, and enchanting them into nondescript balls that you shove into the room's hole over here. If you enchant the spotlighted shape, you get bonus points. Every 10th shape you enchant, you get bonus points equal to the level of the jewelry enchant you used, Onyx being level 6. You could just get a full inventory of shapes, enchant them really fast, and get 12 to 18 points per inventory, or you could collect the dragon stones around the room and enchant those instead. Enchanting one of the dragon stones gives you 2 points for every level of the enchant you used, so level 6 enchant gets you 12 points. That's 72 points for all 6 dragon stones. Then you world hop, run back into the enchantment room, collect the 6 dragon stones all over again, and enchant them once more. Do that 25 times and you'll have 1800 points. Definitely one of the fastest rooms, even if world hopping can be a little tedious. One thing you could do is while you're working working on the other rooms is pop into the enchantment room every now and then, enchant the dragon stones, and then run out and go do your other rooms. The choice is yours. Third room, Telekinetic. You know, I actually love these kinds of puzzles. It reminds me of those sliding ice puzzles in the early Pokemon games. What I don't love is how clunky it is to solve these puzzles, since you have to run around the entire maze pulling the statue northeast, south, and west with Telekinetic Grab. See, Telekinetic Grab isn't like the Force. You can't move an object from one arbitrary location to another arbitrary location. You can only pull towards yourself, like an Allomancer burning iron. Although it's not just limited to metals. Whatever. You just need to be on the correct side of the maze to pull the statue in that direction. You don't need to be perfectly aligned with it, so you can kind of just hug the corner sometimes and make finishing the puzzle a bit faster. What I've found is that you can dive through most of the maze pretty easily, so you can get to the correct side of the maze before the statue even stops moving. If you have mobile on an augmented Excalibur or some kind of offhand weapon, and you want to save air runes, I would recommend wielding an Avernic wand in the main hand. You can get another one from Gideon Bead after you do the Demon Slayer quest, because who would actually hold on to the thing? It acts as infinite air runes, but it's only a one-handed weapon. Or you could just use an elemental staff with a Shadow Grace relic. Or you could just run around the maze normally. I don't know really how much time diving saves, but it feels like it saves a lot of time. Zip zooming around the room, this is, I don't know. You only get 2 points for each maze you solve, so you might think this would take a long time. But you get an extra 8 points every time you solve 5 mazes, making each maze worth 3.6 points on average. That's 50 mazes to get 180 points. It's not too bad. Oh, you also get some token law runes every 5 mazes. It's not nearly enough to cover the amount you use to finish the mazes, but it's nice, I guess. All of these rooms give you a pitiful amount of runes as a reward. Last room, the most painful room in more ways than one. So you see, every time you kill something in Galenor, if it leaves behind bones and you don't pick them up or bury them, they get whisked away to this room here. Where else do you think they'd go? In this room, mages can practice their skills at turning bones into fruit, bananas specifically, because if there's one thing magic automatons love, it's bananas. Different kinds of bones turn into different amounts of bananas, between 1 and 4. And our goal is to make a bunch of bananas. You pick up some bones from these piles, cast bones to bananas, then drop them down the fruit chute and claim some points. Every 16 pieces of fruit is worth a single graveyard point. We need 180 points, so that's a lot of bananas. What you want to do is cast bones to bananas when you have enough bones to fill your inventory with fruit completely. The easiest way to do this is to pick up bones in 8 bone cycles. There are 4 types of bones, and the piles cycle through the bone type every time you pick up 4 of them. By picking up 4 banana bones, the pile turns into 1 banana bones. Pick up 4 more and you'll have 20 bananas worth of bones in your inventory. Cast the spell, slide the bananas down the chute, and return to the bone pile. It will now contain 4 2-banana bones, then 4 3-banana bones. Picking up those 8 is also worth 20 bananas. Repeat this until you want to throw yourself off a cliff. A piece of advice someone left me, and this makes the room way easier, and it's something I hadn't even considered, so thank you for this, is to run the Persistent Rage relic power. While you're in this room, you take frequent damage. Enough damage that the enhanced Excalibur doesn't quite cut it. But Persistent Rage constantly replenishes your adrenaline, and that means you can use Regenerate as much as you want. It's very handy. So you don't gotta eat any of your fruit to heal. You know, I wouldn't even say this room is the worst because of all the clicking to pick up the bones. It's the timing of casting the spell and running to deposit the bananas. I know, logically, that the spell takes the same number of ticks to cast each time, but I feel, emotionally, that the game is screwing with me and adding a tick every here and there. You cast bones to bananas, then you click the chute, and your guy just stands there like an idiot. So you adjust and wait a few ticks because the game refuses to accept any input until the spell is done casting. And that works out well enough, until it doesn't. I don't know, man. Sometimes old content just feels like solving a Rubik's Cube filled with maple syrup. Alright, enough complaining. We pulled through and managed to get enough graveyard points. Let's get ourselves a spell that was once kind of useful, but is now just a relic of a former day. It's a real shame. I remember killing Avian Seas for adamant bars back in the day. Bones to Peach's tablets were part of the meta, as far as I remember. You could stay in Godwar's dungeon for hours, since Peaches healed for 8 health each, and a single tablet worked for every bone in your inventory, and the tablets weren't that expensive either. Torag Helm, Torag Legs, Armadillo Pendant, Rune Crossbow, Granite Shield, Black Dragon Hide Top. Good times. It's too bad this spell will never see any use. Anyway, back to hell. Wow. You hearing this rain? Literally was totally quiet 30 seconds ago. Like, my room is pitch black now. And ugh. Summer rains. You can never predict them.